I never will.
Thank you very much, and welcome to our show. Oh, it seems like only yesterday that I had one of these on. I think this is probably something that a lot of you men watching today will recognize in a hurry as a helmet that has camouflage on it that maybe you wore either in war or training for it out on bivouac sometime or another. There's a new game. I don't know that it's hit your area yet or not, but across the country there are at least 10,000 known people who every week play the survival game. It's kind of a 1984 version of Hide the Flag or Capture the Flag that used to play as kids. Only thing is, people dress in these kind of outfits and they actually try to shoot one another with pellet guns that have paint in it. And if you get hit in a strategic place with paint, you're dead. So you can't play anymore and somebody captures your flag. There's a manual out to show you how to play it. There are stores across the United States selling the equipment, and to be a good survival player it costs you about $400 to buy the things you need. We're going to meet the people in charge of the book who are in charge of that manual in just a little bit. There you go, Mary Ellen. Wear that at home. Frank won't even know you're there, all right? Also on today's program, we're going to have a lady who's going to show you how to make exercise wear, and then I wonder, are you really in love? Do you know whether you are or not, ma'am? You look like you might be. Yeah, let's get her. Bill, can you get the lady over there, please, right there? The lady in the front row with the fuchsia or whatever that jacket is. You're really in love? How long have you been in love?
5 years.
How long have you been married?
35 years.
You mean you married him before you fell in love with him?
Yes.
Actually, maybe...
Do a little bit of all of it.
How long did you go together before you got married?
About 1.5 years.
Did you get to know one another pretty well?
Pretty good.
Uh-huh. And it's a two-way street. He loves you and you love him?
Yes.
You know how lucky you are?
Very.
Do you know that sometimes you have physical attraction to someone? We called it puppy love. And then you go ahead and get married and you wake up one morning and say, who is this person that I'm in bed next to? And you wonder how you got messed up in that. There's a new book out called The Love Test. And if you meet someone, before you tie the knot and do the whole number, you take that test. And if you fail that test, you think, well, the guy wrote the book, doesn't know what he's talking about, and you go ahead and get married anyhow. But he's going to be here today to talk about that. And right now, we get underway with something extra special for you. We have with us today the fashion consultant for DuPont Butterick. Would you welcome Dottie Pearson to our show? Now, as the PR director of the National Survival Game, there's a new manual, and when you see it, it looks like, was that a Boy Scout manual, or is that an Army manual, or is that a Marine manual? The official survival game manual, and on front, you see an ominous-looking gun. This is a new game that's sweeping the country. Every weekend, it's estimated now that at least 10,000 American men and women are playing the survival game. Would you welcome Deborah Diane to talk about this? Hello, Deborah. Deborah, in the notes that were prepared for me in regard to this game, it said that it cost about $400 for equipment. You tell me that's not true.
Yeah, actually that's not really accurate. You can go out and rent the equipment. What you do is call up a local dealer, make a reservation at the playing field, go out on a Saturday afternoon, and you would rent the equipment, and it costs about $25 for a whole day's play.
But now you're talking about combat boots, you rent those?
No, you don't really need, all you need is jeans and a t-shirt, actually. A lot of people like to wear camo fatigues and things because it helps to blend in with the woods. But you can just go out in jeans and a t-shirt.
Well, they probably are figuring that if you buy the combat boots, and if you buy the pants and the top, and you buy the helmet and the guns, you're going to be pretty close to $400 into it.
Well, I don't know anyone that spent that kind of money on it, but for the average person, you can just go out and play for anywhere about $25 for the whole day.
For the whole day. Do you have clubs in cities where they have survival clubs? Or how do they
actually what we
this?
have is a dealership network throughout the United States and Canada and now into Europe. And we have dealers that have playing fields in these different locations. And you would just call up a local dealer and make a reservation for the day to go out and play.
So a man's taken what used to be farmland, woodland, or whatever, has turned it into survival land.
Exactly. Actually, they play on about 20 to 40 acres. So the flag stations are anywhere from a quarter to a half a mile apart. And the object of the game, you have two teams. The object is to cross the terrain, get the flag, and bring it back to your flag station without being marked with one of these paint pellets.
So it's pretty much like as if you're going to rent the baseball field to play softball and have your teams there, and you are required in at one time and out at the other time, or making a reservation for tee time to play golf.
Right.
But it's a far cry from golf.
Yeah, it's a lot more active than golf and a lot more fun.
There are a lot of people that are very critical of this. A lot of people say that this is too much like war and that the morality of it is certainly not a good thing to indicate to our children. Playing with guns one more time. Well, how do you answer the critics?
Well, actually, you know, this is just a marker. This was used by cattlemen to mark cattle and also by foresters to mark trees. And although it looks like a gun, you can't hurt anyone. And I think that's really key to the game. Pointing it at someone and marking them with a paint pellet is a lot different than pointing a real gun at someone with the intention of hurting them.
What if you hit them in the eye?
Well, for that reason, we have protective goggles, okay? And these are mandatory. You must wear these at all times. Because that's really the only way you could get hurt in this game is to take one of these pellets in the eye.
Let's watch some people playing survival and see what you think of it. Watch this.
You gotta pay attention to what's going on every second. Every game's different.
Now, he got hit in the
There he
hip.
goes. He's getting the flag.
He's getting the flag, but the one guy, now he got hit in the stomach with paint. Survival.
That was probably a good shot.
Truce, Peter. Right in the middle. And the game goes on.
Now, how many people does it take to play survival? How many are on each team?
Well, depending on the reservations, the dealer will just go ahead and make the teams up accordingly. So you could play with 6 on a team, or there could be as many as 25 or 30 on a team.
And how do you determine who wins?
Whoever captures the flag.
So
Really,
there
that's
is one flag.
There are 2 flag stations.
Yeah, but I mean one for each
Okay,
team.
one for each team, and you have to cross the terrain, get the flag, and bring it back to your flag station in order to win the game.
Can you take prisoners?
No prisoners.
No prisoners.
Once you get marked with paint, then you're out of the game.
Marked anywhere?
Marked anywhere.
So it's not a matter of getting hit in a vital
no,
spot.
no.
Like,
Just if you get any color on you at all, then you're out of the game.
because when I was in the Army and we had our war maneuvers, we had the same kind of thing except they used powder as opposed to paint. And if you got hit in a vulnerable spot, you were wiped out. You were considered dead or wounded to the point you couldn't continue. And this is where the difference is between the two, I guess, in that respect.
Yeah, this is just a sport, and it's a pretty popular sport at that.
Yeah, I know. It's very popular. I still can't figure how you're not getting more criticism than you already are relative to this.
Well,
Are they hanging signs out, survival, come on out and play our game?
It's interesting that the only criticism of the game has come from people that have neither played the game nor witnessed it being
Isn't that
played.
typical?
Yeah, so the people that really go out there every weekend or once a month and enjoy playing it, they don't have any problem with the game. They know that it's just a bunch of silliness out there.
So it's your feeling that if a person wants to do that, providing they do it not on the streets of town or hurt anybody else, but rather in a confined place, it's their prerogative.
Absolutely.
Good. We're going to talk to a young lady who participates as a survival player and also show you how this pistol works after we pause for these messages. Don't go away or I'll get paint on you. Talking about a new game, an adult game being played across America, and Deborah Diane is here. She's PR director of the National Survival Game, and there's a new manual which is sold where? At the survival
At a local
stores?
bookstore.
At the
Yeah, it's put
bookstores?
out by Simon & Schuster.
Now, are there franchises across the country where, say, for example, if I had some farmland and it wasn't very productive and I'd like to turn it into a survival course that I could write to someone?
You'd notify our office in New London, New Hampshire, that you were interested in becoming a dealer, and then you would do business with us, and we have contracts with these people, and they have a protected area to do business in.
Have any cities, counties, or states restricted you from playing this game in their area?
No, we haven't had any problem. New Jersey has some type of law that's on the books that's keeping us from going in there, but other than that, we're covered in all states in Canada and Europe.
You don't know
right
what that
now.
law is up there?
No, I don't. See, this is not actually a firearm. It's just a CO2 pistol, but we haven't got through the red tape in New Jersey yet.
By CO2, well, you can have pellet guns that are CO2 that can do some pretty good damage.
I suppose that's their
Now,
concern.
is this a specific pistol that's made especially for this that fires the paint pellets, or could this be used with pellets?
No, it could not. I suppose you can modify anything, but as far as I know, this is 68 caliber, and the paint pellet fits into this particular pistol.
In our studio audience, we have Diane Campbell. She's a participant in the survival game. She came dressed in some of her gear today. Diane, would you stand, please, so people can see how you are dressed? You are wearing the camouflage pants and the jacket, and you have your goggles on top, sort of Farrah Fawcett style right now. What do you do for a living?
I'm a postal worker.
And I've heard that you actually will take a day off work to play survival.
That's right.
What turns you on to this game?
It's a very competitive sport.
You like, I mean, you don't like baseball, football, or basketball or something like that?
I like baseball, I like football, but I really can't see myself getting out on a football field and playing football.
You don't do any other contact with this, like you don't do throw people over with karate or hand-to-hand combat type things?
No.
There's none of that involved in this at
No,
all?
no.
Purely the pistol?
Right.
Have you ever been shot?
Yes, I have. You can see.
Got a little paint left right there.
Oh, yes.
Who got you into this?
I saw an advertisement in the paper one day. I read it. I saw this picture of this man with camouflage paint on his face, and I thought, my God, they're landing. And as I as I read the article, I found out that it was a game and it was played near Lexington. So I inquired about it and found out how to play and went out to play one Sunday. And ever since then, I've played every week.
Is it also a boy meets girl place? Do you play against girls, or is it a mixed company?
Oh, I've played mostly against men. There's been several women out to play, and they are regular players.
But most of the participants are men.
Yes.
Do you think that there will be more women involved?
I'd like to think so.
Are there some others back there who also came here with you today?
Yes, there are some other people back
I
here
know
today.
the man back there who looks not too unlike Smokey and the Bandit when he's on the trail. Sir, are you a survivalist as well?
Sure.
You what, please?
Sure I am.
You are. You play the game too?
Yeah, I love it.
How'd you get involved in it?
Well, I started playing with Dennis Harper and the boys early on last year.
Mm-hmm.
And just love it. Done it all, and I love this the best.
Yeah, well, let's find out what the people are thinking about this who don't play. Hello, you're on the air. Go right ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go right ahead.
Yes, you was on the Donahue show, and I believe they had a lot of comments about you. It was anger out towards about every, you know, Americans, like the Russians shooting down the planes and everything. Now, do you believe that this lets out a lot of frustrations on other people? You know, the Russians and everything.
Well, I think the game, it's an aggressive game, certainly. But I think in our society we have to make a distinction between aggression and violence. Aggression's not a bad thing. We want firemen to be aggressive, politicians to be aggressive. You have to make a distinction between aggression and violence. There is no violence in this game. Compared with socially accepted sports of our day, such as hockey or boxing, you can't compare. It's apples and oranges.
Yeah, you go to a hockey game, you kind of hope that the
That's
goalie
violent.
gets wiped out so somebody punches him, right?
That's right. There's a lot of violence there.
Boxing match.
Yeah.
Violent.
In this game, there isn't any violence.
You
There's
go to
just a lot
racing,
of,
you hope that one of the guys buys the wall, you know, so it makes it a little more exciting. Is that what you're
yeah.
thinking?
Well, I'm saying that we are unlike that. There is no violence in this game. And the act of pointing a pistol at someone and marking them with paint, knowing that you can't hurt them, makes it a non-violent sport.
How do you feel about it, sir? Caller still there?
Yes.
How do you feel about it?
I think it's all right.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think that there is some, it's towards somebody else. It's not against the person you're shooting at, because it's not real. If it was real, it'd be different. It's not real.
Certainly not brotherly love, right?
Right.
Okay, thank you for your call. Yes, in the studio.
Today's the first that I have known about the game, but I'm curious as to what age group is involved in it.
You have to be 18 or over to play the game. So it's an adult game of capture the flag. It's not for children.
What's the reasoning behind that? Having to be 18 or older?
Well, I think insurance reasons, basically. That we just want adults out there. Obviously, the equipment, you know, you have to wear the goggles. We don't want children out there playing around and taking their goggles off and taking the chance of doing, you know, permanent damage to themselves.
Thank you. At home, hello, you're on the air.
Hello.
Uh-huh.
I would like to make a comment about this.
Yes, ma'am.
I know that the game is not dangerous, but I think it's sick mentally.
You think it's sick?
I do.
How do you really feel about it? Huh? You think it's sick. What makes you think it's sick? Just the fact that they go out there and spray each other with paint, or that it's make-believe war, or what?
No, I think that it's the idea that the paint from the gun would make it much easier in some mentality to use a bullet.
You mean paint today, a bullet tomorrow?
Right.
Okay, let's ask Diane. You do this. Diane, when you aim that, do you wish it were a bullet?
No. In fact, I think as you aim that paint pellet or your gun at someone and you shoot it, it makes you realize that if you had a bullet in that gun, you could kill them. And for me, that's a negative thought towards buying a gun.
But aren't you acting out violence by saying, I'm going to get you and shoot that pistol at him?
Definitely.
Huh? Aren't you?
I'm out to get the flag at the other flag station. If that means I have to mark another opponent to get them out of the game, then I have to mark the other opponent.
Can you transfer that to your job at the post office? Would you step on somebody's foot to get the promotion? Huh? I mean, would you belt them in the mouth in order to get the better job?
Well,
What's the difference? That's the flag.
I'm a postal supervisor, and sometimes you think
You've already done it. Okay, thank you. Hello, you're on the air. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm in the United States Navy Reserves, and I'll be going into the Navy in a few months. And I think this game ought to be taken a little bit more seriously.
Uh-huh. You think that it's more than just fun and games?
Yeah, I do.
In what way?
Well, in the Navy and any other service, when we play war games, we're playing it for real, like we're actually against an enemy. And I think this is not, it's just a game and people aren't taking it seriously enough.
Mm-hmm.
War is serious.
Like maybe those who had been in the service and had experienced the actual thing would not think it was nearly as much fun.
That's right.
Maybe we'll hear from a veteran who might want to comment on it. Thank you for your call. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I think there's enough violence in this world today, enough violence on TV, and we certainly don't need another violent sport, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think violence is a sport.
Do you think there will be a law against this?
Could possibly look into that area. I don't know. You can't legalize, you can't make a law for someone's morality.
Is it another way to make a buck?
It sounds like it to me.
Hello, you're on the air. Go right ahead. Hello?
You know, I think it's too bad that we really have to defend why we have a good time. As I said, you know, the criticism of the game seems to come from people that have not played it nor witnessed it. The people that do play it, they know why they're out there. They know it's just real silly, and they're having a good time. It's too bad that we really have to defend why we do that, or why you like golf as compared to tennis.
That's a good point. Hello, you're on the air. You've got a caller there?
Yes, I think it sounds like an awful lot of fun. My daughter, she's 18 years old, and she goes out and plays this. And she really has a good time. And, you know, from the beginning of time, kids were taught to, I guess, go out and fight. But it just seems like a lot of fun to me. And I'm not a violent person, but, you know, this is always going to be here, I think.
Okay, thank you for your call. Would you, before you hang up, would you go? Would you play?
Yes.
You would play?
Uh-huh.
Have you?
No.
But you would?
Yes, I would.
How's your husband feel about it?
He'd probably think I was crazy, but I think he'd probably play too.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, in the blue.
Yes, I'm definitely opposed to this. I think that it glamorizes war. I'm definitely against war in any shape or form, and it really glamorizes it.
Well, you know, I don't think, I would agree with you. I don't think there's anyone here that doesn't abhor war. We're all in agreement with that. I think it's too bad to get caught up in the military trappings. You know, just because we wear camo fatigues doesn't mean that there's anything militaristic about it. If we were just playing adult hide and seek, as adults we'd want to wear camouflage if we were playing hide and seek in the woods because we'd be able to stay hidden longer. So I think, you know, we try not to get caught up in the fact that there are fatigues and that we use a pistol.
Right, but children, you know, are affected by this also, and I think you have to, you know, they might hear their parents or their friends playing this game, and this is really going to affect them. They're going to see that it's a glamorous thing.
Well, you
It's
know,
fun.
most of the people that have children that play that I've talked to say that they would rather have their children coming out to the playing field, witnessing people playing a game which children understand real well, laughing and smiling and pointing these things at each other and getting marked with paint, than to have their children sit in front of the television and watch the graphic violence that's on TV these days.
Thank you for your comment. Hello, you're on the air. Go right ahead.
Hi, I was just wondering what kind of screening you have for the survival game.
We don't screen people any more than they screen them to play a football game or a softball game or anything else.
Aren't you afraid that somebody might come in with a real, like real ammunition and start shooting?
No, we haven't had any experience like that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for your call. What's in the survival manual?
Basically, it's a how-to book. The man that wrote this was a veteran, and he served a year in Vietnam. And he answers these issues about war, and on a scale of war, he compares it, he says on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 0 as compared to war. That fun and camaraderie are the essence of this game.
I know we have a full bank of phones, and I was hoping we'd get a veteran in to comment on this. Let me try one more. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead.
Yes, could you tell me how we go about finding where there's a dealership around Cincinnati?
It's interesting because in the comments, so far you're winning numbers-wise. Tell her, go right
Well,
ahead.
I made arrangements for the studio. You can call the studio here, and they will refer you to the games in Kentucky and also here in Ohio.
And they're all across the country.
That's correct.
How 10,000, is that a conservative estimate?
I think that's very conservative. This game is only about 2 years old. We're going into our 3rd summer, and I think this summer, by the end of this summer, we'll see a lot more numbers playing this game every weekend.
Okay, thank you very much, Deborah and the rest of you. We have a make-believe person over here and have it in shadow, and I have the gun. I would like to warn the audio engineer and also those of you in the studio, this is quite loud. It's a CO2 gun. It makes at least as much noise as a regular pistol would make. So if if this bothers you, want to hold your ears. And for those of you at home, we'll try to turn the audio down just a little bit. Now, do I aim this just as I would a regular pistol?
Stand back a little bit, Bob.
Should I do it like they do on like the big guys do?
Yeah. Take your dirty, hairy shot.
Yeah. Am I back far enough?
You can step back a little further.
I take a dirty, hairy shot. Wow. He's got two expressions. One's a smile and the other isn't.
Go ahead, make your day.
Okay. Let's see. I'm afraid I'm going to turn out like Ed Ames. We'll play this every year.
Nice shot.
I don't want to say anything, but it was a bullseye. Hey, Diane, can I be on your team? Okay, thank you. I appreciate you telling us about it. I don't know how you feel about this. It's up to you. But whether you like it or whether you don't, it is going on right now. You think about your opinion. And thanks to Deborah Dion and Diane Campbell. We'll be right back.
Come on, everything? All 50 items?
I love what? The watermelon. I love the macaroni.